Saturday morning. Good day, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. On Saturday mornings, what we do is we go through a book that I've read this week. I love my books. And Jojo, by the way, I haven't emailed you back. This is my pet's virtual assistant. Awesome. Thank you so much for the book recommendation. I will be reading that one. So, personal message there to Jojo. Forgive me, you listeners. So, today we're talking about a book called Evergreen Assets. It's a guy called John Lamerton. I love this guy. John Lamerton, I read one of his books. I think it was Big Ideas for Small Businesses, first of all. And then he's got another one called Routine Machine. He has been on the podcast before. We've interviewed him. And now he's got this one, Evergreen Assets. And it is right up my street. Don't get me wrong. If you're starting business, then this is the guy you must follow. He's the UK's version of James Franco. And everybody knows how much I love James Franco. He even mentions James Franco in this book. James Franco is the author of Work Less, Make More. So basically the effective hourly rate. And John has another terminology for it, but it ultimately means what is your effective hourly rate? What are you paying yourself? And then any tasks below that. So say you're on £100 an hour, for example, then any task below that, like cutting the grass, £15 an hour, you should be outsourcing and paying somebody else. So they both got the same principles and I love them. This book is all about creating evergreen assets. What is an evergreen asset? An evergreen asset is something that you don't have to continuously put effort into it to get results. So an evergreen asset for me, for example, is a podcast. My podcast that I've done for Hacking Self-Storage, my other podcast, my self-storage podcast, I know every single week, hundreds of people listening. Hundreds. I'm going to start a bit again. That's terrible. Hundreds of people are listening to my previous episodes that I recorded a year ago. That is an evergreen asset. You record it once, you do the work once, and then you reap the rewards again and again and again and again. I don't need to do anything else. It is in the universe. Selling me is that episode. People are listening to it. People are buying into me. They're knowing me, liking me, and trusting me. And all I've got to do is put that podcast, like this version of podcast, I've got to do it once, and that's it. It's done and dusted. Now, John he's got a club called the 1%ers Club, which basically he tries to improve your business 1% every single week. I haven't been a member ever. Purely because I've been a member of James Franco's before that, and it looks similar. It might not be similar. John might be better. Oh, I can't believe I said John might be better than James Franco. See, that's how much I respect and love John, because for me, James Franco is one of the best on the planet. And so that's the only reason that I haven't been a member. You know me, I love courses, members and stuff. But yeah, he runs 1% Club. And so all they want to do on that course and that program is improve your business 1% every single week. It doesn't sound like a lot, but 1% every single week, if you can actually realistically do that, improve your business 1% every single week, then your business, my friends, is going to be worth an absolute fortune. If you are starting out in business, I would thoroughly and 100% recommend that you look at John's work, because John's got a podcast as well, John Lamerton. So check it out and read his books, Routine Machine, Big Ideas for Small Businesses, and Evergreen Assets, because them three, that trilogy, is awesome. And some of the things, it starts very, very simple. So he starts talking about basic SEO in this. It's very, very basic, but I love it. The way John explains things, he really dumbs it down to mean that somebody who's not into business or in business can understand as well. I thoroughly enjoyed it. To be honest, when I first started listening, I did actually think this is going to be a little bit too basic for me, because a lot of it is stuff that, well, it should be basic because I've been educating myself on business and terminology and internet marketing for God knows how long, but I really enjoyed it. John has this uncanny ability to be a fantastic entertainer. I don't even know if he means to be entertaining, but you can tell. He told me that he really enjoyed recording this book, and you can actually tell it comes out. You can tell he's actually smiling when he's talking. He absolutely loved it. He really, really enjoyed recording this book, and it shows. He's got a passion for what he does. He knows business, understands business, and to be honest, I didn't know to what, because I've never actually worked with John. I've had conversations with him, but I've never actually worked with John. So I never knew, obviously I knew he was very, very good, top of his field and stuff, but I never knew that he had an overall understanding of business, because when you meet these people, there might be an expert in X, Y, and Z, but know nothing about A, B, and C. But it turns out John has got an unbelievable rounded knowledge on every aspect of business. And I suppose if you're a business coach, that's what you want. But so many people are business coaches and don't have that knowledge. I've worked with so many people that don't have that basic understanding of some of the things they're pretending to teach. And so just because someone's a coach, it doesn't mean they're an expert. And it took me time to get to realize that. And so not all coaches are experts, and not all experts are coaches. However, John, I believe, has got a really, really knowledgeable foundation base of knowledge in every aspect of running a business. And he dumbs it down so incredibly well into bite-sized chunks that anybody can understand. So if you're looking for a book about business, how to grow and sustain your business and work less and make more, then John's work is incredible. He actually mentioned coming on this podcast, but the only problem is with that we don't do interviews anymore, and there's no point coming on Hack and Sell Storage, because storage it's not relatable to what we're doing, to what John's doing. It's more of a generic business book, and I just don't think there's a connection there. So I don't think the audience will enjoy that so much. And I don't do interviews on here anymore. And to be honest, that's because we don't get that many listeners anymore and stuff, because it's geared up to my kids. And so although I would love any chance to talk to John, because I always learn something when I talk to him, I just don't think it'd be worth his while. And so that's why he's not coming on. And to be honest, I don't have time to do interviews either on this podcast anymore. It's just, it kind of keeps me accountable. That's what this podcast keeps me accountable, and hopefully my kids can follow on my journey in life and stuff. So I thoroughly recommend this book, even if Zach and Kai, when you're older, are listening to this, or Zach and Kai's kids, or Zach and Kai's kids, or kids. I recommend this book because it's a solid foundation into business. It really, really is. And it doesn't matter what state of business you're in. I got some benefit out of it, and I consider myself pretty damn good as an overall businessman. There's obviously certain aspects that I can improve on, but overall, I have a rounded knowledge of everything, and I took some things out of this book. So thank you, John. Thought it was absolutely awesome. And I 100% agree that Evergreen Assets are the way forward. And this is what I've done for my business for many, 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 many years. But you condensed it into a bite-sized book with actionable steps as well. So thank you very much, sir. I recommend this book to anybody. All right. Cheers, guys. See you soon.